Now this is a girl just like you, Lily.
Ooh.
And she loves birds. And this happened not too long ago. Maybe, 60 years ago in China. They declared war on the birds. And they said they were going to kill every bird in China. And then after they killed the birds, they thought, since the birds aren't eating grain, we'll have lots and lots of grain for the people to eat. So Ming Li came home one day, and Big Brother Guga had a big basket full of firecrackers. And she said, Guga, what are you doing with that basket of firecrackers? And she said, tomorrow is the first day of the war on the birds. And I'm going to help. I'm going to scare all the birds away with these firecrackers. Ming Li thought for a minute and said, but I like birds. Birds are my friends. Oh, that's because your head is just full of bird brain. Don't you know that our great leader has declared war on the birds? That the birds eat too much grain? And after we get rid of all the birds, there'll be lots and lots of food for us to eat. We won't have to go hungry anymore. I still don't think it's a very good idea. The birds are very pretty. What will the sky be like with no birds flying in it? Oh, don't worry about such things. And as they sat around the dinner table that night, Father told them about the war on the birds. Our great leader has said that for 3 days now, starting tomorrow morning early, we're going to go out in the streets and the fields and the orchards. We'll make all the noise that we can, and the birds that don't get scared away will die of fright from all the noise. Now, everybody get a good night's sleep. We have 3 days of very important work to come up. Ming Li couldn't sleep that night. She woke her big brother up and said, Guga, what about your pigeon? What about your pigeon? My pigeon will be fine, he said. Now, let me get some sleep. So, Big Brother went back to sleep, but Ming Li couldn't sleep that day. And in the morning, bright and early, before the sun rose, all the people of the village were in the street with cymbals and gongs and pots and pans with big ladles, and they were banging on the pans with ladles and striking the cymbals together and making a big racket in the streets. Come on, said Guga. Come on. May, come with me. We're going to fight the war on the birds. I don't want to fight a war on the birds, she said. I like birds. Oh, stop complaining. Come with me. And her brother grabbed her by the hands and said, let's go to the orchard. I bet there are birds hiding in the trees. And sure enough, there were birds in the trees, because when Big Brother lit a firecracker and threw it into the trees, a whole flock of birds flew out and flew over to another tree. Come on, May, let's follow them. And they went to another tree and threw a firecracker in. Poor Ming Li just held her ears. I don't want to do this. I'm going home, she said. When she got home, she climbed up on the roof where her big brother kept his pigeon. The cage was empty. The door was open. And she waited, and soon she saw a pigeon coming home. But it wasn't flying straight. It was weaving from side to side and up and down. And when it got to the roof, it just collapsed. Ming Li rushed to the pigeon. Its heart was beating so fast. Poor pigeon, she said. Did they all scare you? Here, I'll hold you. But soon, Pigeon's heart stopped beating. Mei was very sad, and she went to find her big brother and said, Guga, I want to show you something. Not now, said Big Brother. I'm fighting a war on the birds. Look! And he threw a firecracker into a tree. Boom went the firecracker, and a flock of birds flew out of the tree. And Ming Li showed him his pigeon. Look what you did to your pigeon. All the noise has scared the pigeon to death. Older brother looked at the pigeon. He loved his pigeon very much and started to cry. Ming Li said, Don't cry, Guga. We can save some birds. And just then, a bird fell out of the sky. Ming Li rushed to the bird and picked it up, but it was already dead. Now there were more birds falling from the sky. Most were dead. They were scared. And they were scared so bad they died of fright. But Ming Li found one sparrow who was still alive, and she tucked the sparrow under her coat and said, Don't worry, little friend. I'll take care of you. And they brought that one sparrow home. And now birds were falling out of the sky. It was like it was raining. Birds. And Big Brother said, Look, it's just like rain. But Ming Li said, No. The sky is crying. The sky is crying, birds. And they fell to the ground. And Ming Li put the one bird that she'd saved into the cage where Pigeon used to live. And she said, Tomorrow I will go out and find some more birds to save. Older brother went with her. And older brother distracted all the people while Ming Li ran to the birds as they fell out of the sky. And when the 3 days were over, she had saved 7 birds. Now, I can't keep them up here. The villagers will find them and kill them. But I can't let them go either. The villagers will see them and kill them. What should I do? She thought a while and then said, I know. The barn is empty. And it'll be a while before we have a harvest. I can take my 7 sparrows to the barn. They can live in the barn, and I can bring them water, and they can eat the insects in the barn, and I can bring them a little food when I'm able. So she brought the 7 birds to the barn, let them go, and they flew up to the rafters and looked down at her. And she said, "Don't worry, friends. One day you will fly under the sun again." And every day she would come and make sure her birds had water, and she'd feed her birds, and the birds did well in the barn. Now it was springtime. Father was going to plant the fields, and Ming Li said, "Father, I want to be a farmer like you. Can I come with you?" And Father said, "No, Ming Li, you're just a little girl. Stay home with your mother. Farming is a man's work." Ming Li was sad to be told that. She wanted to be a farmer. She wanted to help. But every day she went and fed her birds. And as time went by, Father's face grew longer and tireder. And all the people in the village looked very sad and unhappy. And the crops out in the field weren't doing well. One day, Father said, "Tomorrow the farmers will all meet right outside the barn. We have to talk about the harvest." Ming Li was afraid that they'd go in the barn and see her 7 sparrows. But they just sat around looking very tired and very serious. One farmer said, "There will be no rice this year. The locusts have eaten all the rice." Another one said, "There'll be no plums either. The worms have eaten all our fruit." A third one said, "There'll be no beans. The grasshoppers have chewed through the beanstalks." "There'll be no food this year," said a fourth. A fifth one said, What about our families? Our families will starve." And Ming Li just couldn't stay quiet. She came out from behind the barn and said, "It's because you killed all the sparrows. The sparrows ate the insects and the worms. And now the insects and the worms are eating all our food." Her father got very angry. "Ming Li, go away. We're having a serious meeting." But the oldest farmer said, "She's right. The birds were never our enemies. Never. We should have never killed the birds." But said another, our great leader told us if we killed the birds, we'd have lots and lots of grain to eat." And the oldest farmer said, "Even great leaders can be wrong." And Ming Li said, "I'd like to show you something." And she took them to the barn, opened the door, and there were her 7 sparrows flying around in the barn, and when they saw the sunlight, they flew out the door. "Look," said one farmer, "Ming Li has brought us a miracle." "No," said another, 7 miracles. And another said, "From now on, we will call you by a new name. We will call you Sparrow Girl." And Father was very happy. "We should have listened to you. We should have listened to you. Sometimes little girls can be wiser than great leaders." And when it got time to plant again, Father said, this time you can be a farmer. You can come and plant the fields with me. And Ming-Lee's 7 sparrows built nests and laid eggs in them, and the eggs hatched into birds, and within a few years, all the birds had returned to China. And they resolved never, ever, ever fight a war against the birds again. Did you like that story?